Who's joined membership-wise tonight as well. We are going to come back to Arsenal, so stay with us. But Hamza! 1 win in 10, brother. 1 win in 10. And I want to point out a stat. And if you don't speak about this player today, I am banning you from the Terrace for a month. Jack Grealish. 1 goal in 12 months. But worse than that, this man has 1 goal and 4 assists in his entire Champions League history. Speak to me about the performance, and I want to hear about Jack Grealish play centrally today. And that man dropped the stinker of all stinkers. Talk to us, Hamza.
I've never been here in my life, like for many years. I don't know, man. Like 1 in 10 is mad, man. I don't know. 1 in 10 is something even no one could have predicted, man. There's no one. This is beyond pain, man. Like beyond pain. Like every 3 days you just, I swear it's painful. People don't understand. Like I'm speechless. Like
Hamza, why do you start it? Why do you start off like this?
I'm talking about for 6 weeks of madness. Like you want me to explain tonight? Just go give me 1 loss. But it like all this loss. Listen, oh my God, listen. Thank God. First thing is, we were poor tonight. I said it before. I said, let's not hide this, that Juventus are a poor side. Juventus are 6th in Serie A. Juventus drew to Empoli. Empoli is that perfume that we use. I think it's Emporio or something, Emporio. Something like that. That's the only thing. I don't know where they're from, which side they are in part of Italy. Yeah. They drew to Parma. Parma got relegated Division 3. The last time I remember Parma was Buffon was 17-18. Cannavaro, Thuram, Crespo, Dino Baggio, Diego Fuzet. Those are the names. Ariel Ortega. That's the last time I knew about Parma. After that, I said, alhamdulillah, what happened to Parma? I just found out, I swear to God, 2 days ago, Parma are in Division Serie A. I thought, what? I Googled, I said, let me do my homework on Juventus. I looked at the research, 2-2 to Parma. I thought, Parma drew to Juventus. Empoli drew 0-0. Today, it was all about, like, listen, it's not about Pep. I will not blame my manager. It's nothing to do with Pep. Defensively, we're so bad. We're so poor. When I said this defensively, we're conceding goals like 2 against Juventus. Yeah? A team that got battered to Stuttgart.
Hamza, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. You're saying that your team can't defend properly. Why is none of that on Pep if he keeps picking the same play? You all told us that
we don't have any option.
No, you got Diaz.
There's no
Diaz
solution.
is now back.
Listen, people don't realize.
Nonsense.
These fans have to realize we don't have a solution now.
Diaz is now back.
Because why? Akanji is out. Ake is out. Stones is out. I said it in the summer when I start saying it's about risk assessment. 1 second, Terry. In your work, do you do something called risk assessment?
Yes.
When you go every year, do you not discuss about what are possibilities? For example, if your work depends on computers, if something happens, something must be a backup.
The problem is this though. The problem with your analogy is this, right? Is this isn't a one-off game. Yes, Akanji's out. Sorry, yes, Akanji's not there. Yes, Ake is not there, and yes, Stones is not there. But two or three games ago, some of those players were available, and you were still leaking. The thing is, you haven't just been bad in these last 10 games. You've actually performed poorly in your last 15 matches, even in games that you were winning. And you haven't had all those players out for the entirety of that time, because when you first started playing poorly, it was solely blamed on not having Rodri available. But what we've all been talking about since, and slowly but surely more and more City fans, big up LB and Nobbins, the first two to really admit this out there, you've got attackers who are awful in terms of their output. I mean, Jack Grealish, 1 goal in like 3 or 4 years in the Champions League. Shocker tonight, been shocking all season when he's played. You know, you've got Savio, doesn't score. What's his name? Doku. He actually played a really good ball across 6-yard box today, which no one ran in for. But typically, very little output, no goals. Haaland, for such a prolific goal scorer, the last 10 games or so, his output has been poor. You've got defenders who, without a really good structure around them, because you guys are lacking confidence, look all over the place. You've got Guardiola out there today, who you guys have described as world class. You told us when Diaz was coming back, everything will be fixed because he orchestrates your backline. The problem is to put no blame on Pep and just to say we've got 2 or 3 injuries is crazy. Arsenal tonight played a team in Monaco in much better Champions League form. We'd all agree they've been in much better Champions League form. Arsenal had, 3 or 4 of their defenders out, who you City fans would have said are not as good as your defenders that are out. Anyway, they've got Kivior playing and a kid, and they kept a clean sheet. So I'm not buying this nonsense. When you say there's no solutions, how is a manager of Arteta's level versus Pep with a squad that we've all said, because didn't we all say at the beginning of the season, Arsenal haven't done enough to strengthen their squad, with a squad not as strong as City's, with a manager not as good as City? How comes Arteta has been able to find a solution tonight in isolation, but you say Pep cannot find a solution? We don't have the right players. You've got one of the best academies out there. That's bullshit, Hamza. It's bullshit.
You should be ashamed of yourself bringing Arteta's name with Pep's name. Like, you should be ashamed for that.
No. Nonsense.
There's no way you can.
It's a great point. Okay, but this is exactly it. But you've proven my point by saying that, you mug. Listen, do you want to know why you're proving it? No, I'm going to stop you. Do you know why you're proving my point? You're proving my point because you're saying it's embarrassing to even mention Arteta's name next to Pep. V agreed. Cool. Let's all agree.
Playing up to
Stop talking. Stop talking. So how is the manager, who's so inferior, he shouldn't be mentioned next to yours, found a solution with an injury crisis at the back, but your great manager can't?
Because our injury crisis is at the back and in the midfield.
Ours is at the back as well.
Nonsense.
Okay, let me say.
Nonsense.
Our injury. Take
away Declan Rice said, let's see how well Arteta does with trying to figure this thing out.
Declan Rice missed games this season. What are you talking about?
What? We got our 6 playing right back.
You got Kovacic. You have Kovacic and
you play right back.
You guys have the best player in the world. The best player in the world. Missing. Best player. It's like, remember when Barca were doing bits? If you take Messi out, what happened?
No, but you told me without Rodri, you still gonna win.
You take Kovacic out.
This is why it's all bullshit. This is why it's bullshit. But when you had Kovacic in the team playing the DM role, and you had Ake fit and Akanji in the team, you were still leaking. And that's all happened in this run of games.
No.
I am not saying that injuries haven't played a part. I would never do that. I am pulling on your view that you can't blame Pep for one single iota of this, because there hasn't been any time where he can find the solution. When you guys would have all told us you got the strongest squad in the Prem. No one's got a stronger squad than us. You would have said that just a few months ago. Now you're backtracking to protect little old bald Pep.
Can I just say something? It comes down to one thing. The team that has always gone to the last game winning for 4 years running are these players. These are the same players that have achieved everything. You cannot tell me.
Exactly why. You are making a bad argument.
Let him make it then, Terry. Let him make the argument. Let him make that argument.
If you look at if you do a medical research, and you say, okay, these are the same players that won 4 in a row, 100 points. These are the guys that won trebles. What has gone wrong? Is fatigue.
Let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you a question.
I'm money tired as well, bro.
Guys. Let me ask you a question. Guys. Let me ask you a question then. So when you've had teams like Bayern Munich win 10 on the bounce, can you show me where they won 1 in 10 after the end of winning 10 on the bounce, after their fatigue? Can you show me where Man United twice done 2 3-peats and competing for the league title either side of that? So still absolutely at it. Show me where Fergie only won 1 in 10. The problem is where your example falls down is when you look at any of the other great sides through the history of European football. Some have done 3-peats, some have done 4-peats, some have done 5-peats, some have done trebles and won multiple Champions Leagues in that time and have been every bit as competitive as City. If they've maintained that manager, none of them have gone 10 games with 1 win. So your reasoning has no case in point because it's not happened before. So I'm saying that some of the things you say hold sense. I think there's an element of tiredness. There's an element of players maybe being a bit bloated, all of this. But to say there's zero blame to Pep, V, do you agree that Pep is to blame for none of these last 10 poor performances and results?
No, I'm not. But the reason why you get triggered and all these rivals get triggered is because we don't overly heavily criticize Pep for the misses. We balance it. We talk about the injuries. We talk about fatigue. We talk about certain players that have been missing, and we talk about Pep with regards to his selection.
Hamza didn't. That's
okay,
why
Hamza's won. Hamza's won.
That's what I was calling out. I'm not triggered by what you're saying, but you just lied.
I just lied about what?
You just lied. I got annoyed at Hamza because he literally did what you said he didn't. And that is he applied zero blame to Pep. So that annoyed me because I think it's bullshit. So, you haven't. So therefore, speak away.
I think when you one second, Professor. I think when you're asking Professor also with regards to blame, there's this game or there's the run of 10 or 11 games. Now, in this game, I find it a little difficult to heavily criticize Pep for getting it wrong. But over a course of 10, 11 games, yes, a manager is going to make mistakes like all of our managers do. Players are going to have some errors, which we've seen heavily from several players have errors. And we've seen players not be available for the system that we want to run. Now, when Professor said we're in a situation where how could we have expected this? Who foresaw this? Who thought that with some injuries or even without Rodri that would be performing like this? At the beginning of the season, how many of you want to talk about, before this season even kicked off, I knew that this would happen. Get the heck out of here. None of you knew that it would be 1 in 10. None of you knew that it would be a battling at 22 within the UCL, and none of you knew that it would be this type of battle in the Prem.
One second.
No.
Because
Vader,
or wrong.
Vader,
let me just answer a question.
Vader, when the season started, when the season started, I was told by City and Liverpool fans, Arsenal are 1 injury away from being in a top 4 battle. And I rebutted by saying, if Rodri misses an extended period of time, or God forbid, gets injured for the rest of the season, Man City will be in a top 4 battle. And right now, that is pretty much predicting exactly what's going on. You went from a team that was competing for the league every year,
that's why we
competing for the Champions League, to one injury, major injury.
It's not one major. That's why we cut you off, Igal. It's not just Rodri.
No. The quality of that injury has impacted everything. Let's not lie.
No one's lying. It has nothing to do with the quality of injury. It's all across the squad. When we bring up Akanji Ake being out, that's the back line. But
that's what everyone does, though.
Why you're not Nostradamus, why you're not predicting the future, is because when Rodri was out, like you predicted, no Rodri, considered amount of time, we weren't catching losses like this. We weren't inconsistent like this. So it's other factors. That's why.
And then the other thing is,
once Rodri actually was announced that he's done for the season, that morale hit.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, let me answer. Terry, I want to answer a question. Terry, I want to answer.
Go on, Hamza. I muted you because the audience can't hear.
I was ready to cook you for this.
Okay.
Because you lied to the people, and it's important for you to be corrected.
Go on, show me where I've lied.
People is when you did 3 in a row. You came third in the league. You got knocked out to West Brom in the League Cup.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to mute you and stop you. Did we win did we have a run of 1 win in 10 games? Yes or no? That's what I said. Did that happen?
I'm saying you struggled.
But I didn't say struggle. I said 1 win in 10 games. You cannot move. You can't change my fucking point and then call me a liar. That's mad.
You said 1 win in 11th of January. You know how many games
I'm muting you because you're literally making something up. Well, I want to respond to V for a moment. You're making something up, Hamza, so I'm muting you. V, injuries, of course, are part of this. But the reason why I think, and fair play to you for criticizing Pep Guardiola. And by the way, I don't think you guys should go over the top with it either.
Of course not.
Hamza saying what he said is just crazy. But this season, you guys have had 14 injuries. Aston Villa have had 15. Arsenal have had 16 injuries. Tottenham have had 16 injuries. In fact, Brighton, I mean, what they've done this season is amazing considering they've had 17 injuries total in 638 days lost for their collective injuries. You guys are actually at 372, right? And Brighton haven't gone 1 win in 10 games. That's why I'm saying to City fans to just blame an injury or two, to just do that, I think is a neglect of bigger issues at your club right now. This isn't even bad form.